Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak, and we have a new president. How about that? Um, he used to be president, now he's president again. Congratulations to President Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, our first Marine in the White House representing a president or vice president. It's kind of a big deal. I was in the Marine Corps. Today is the Marine Corps birthday, November 10th. Today we are celebrating the 249th Marine Corps birthday. Why is that a big deal? Well, because our country is 249 years old. It's not a coincidence. Um, I went into the Marine Corps not knowing any history, basic history of what my coach slash history teacher was teaching us. And, 1776, Declaration of Independence was signed. The Marine Corps started 1775. So if you do the math on that, that's pretty significant. It is celebrated that in Tun Tavern, Pennsylvania, 1775, the Marine Corps was formed as a elite fighting force willing to take the battle to land, sea, and possibly air. Obviously, they didn't have the air back then, but yeah, we've made some advancements in technology since then. But while I was in, I got to really enjoy some of the benefits of being in the military. I was in between 94 and 98, and it was, of course, before 9/11. So I was in a very convenient time of being in peace times. Desert Storm and Desert Shield had kind of died down. We were closing some military bases because they were not needed. It was just, it was a bunch of money being spent to basically police the whole world, and it was costing us, the American taxpayers, a lot of money. And it was agreed upon. Um, Even Ronald Reagan had said that once the Cold War ends, the need to spend money to have troops overseas is not necessary. And of course, history is very eye opening as we go down the rabbit hole. And we're going to learn a lot more about history now that Trump is in office. If anybody has had the opportunity to listen to Joe Rogan's interviews, not only with Trump, but with JD Vance and with Elon Musk, I highly advise anybody to just take a moment and listen to at least JD Vance or Elon Musk or both or all three. They're all great. Um, Elon divulges a lot more of information about why he got involved and why he bought X and why he got into this. JD Vance talks a lot about just open questions, anything Joe wants to ask. Um, Donald Trump, of course, is running for president, so they didn't talk a lot about policies and hopes and dreams and whatever. More about just the impact of what it took to make that step in there from being a businessman. But you know, I was in, of course, during a time of peace, and information had come out saying, we're closing the bases, and a lot of people blamed Bill Clinton. That's not the case. We just didn't have a Cold War. Here's the thing: the dirty secret nobody wants to talk about is war is money. War makes money for everybody. Okay, when people die, it causes us to spend money, especially if you get people passionate about something, whether it's the right side or the wrong side, doesn't matter. You just get people passionate about something, and suddenly money is green lit. People give their thumbs up, and technology makes huge leaps and bounds in advancement. And then we get cool toys like a cell phone or a drone or electric vehicles or, you know, ways of communicating around the globe digitally. All of those are advancements, but also you have the huge advancements in medicine. Money is freely spent through various budgets and people donating and people having their taxes raised, their general cost of living raised, just to make these advancements because it's for freedom and it's for the cause and whatever you want to call it. Now, if anybody likes watching movies or television, I'm sure you've heard it said that in chaos there's opportunity. And what better chaos can you have than a war? Um, you know, there's been discussions over the fact of we shouldn't have even had Desert Storm and Desert Shield because there was no threats of nuclear weapons. There was no weapons of mass destruction found. I don't know if that's true or not. I listen, this is stuff I heard, okay? I just heard that they went searching and they didn't find anything. Like they went to war over the idea of we have to go there and we have to get this guy because they have all these weapons and they're going to unleash it on people. And come to find out, the biggest threat we had was internally, our own people. I don't want to think that 9/11 when it was an inside job. It seems so awful that we would have something like this happen up on our own soil on purpose. Does it make it impossible? No, it definitely is possible. Um, there's a lot of people talking about, well, why did this tower go down that wasn't even near it? It was a calculated strike. They had, munitions in there to blow up the building because of the banking system and the money that was owed, and they had misappropriated something like $3 trillion, whatever it was. I forget. Anyway, in chaos is opportunity. So there has been a discussion. I've seen it online that one of the biggest reasons that kids were encouraged to go to school, besides the reading and writing, was for them to learn to follow directions. That's also one of the biggest reasons for organized religion. Follow directions. Listen to us. We're in charge. If we don't listen to somebody in charge and we're all willy-nilly, it's the Wild West. We have a rudderless boat. Things run amok. And it's a lot better if you have people in line. Um, I have seen growing up my brother and sister. I have a half brother and a half sister that were born about a week apart. And my brother was raised in a very structured, strict household of rules and you better listen to what I say and a lot of motivation. Let's call it motivation. Yeah. But also a lot of support. Um, a sister and brother in the same house, me, of course, being the brother, constantly with him and giving him direction and challenging him and him in a way looking up to us and wanting to emulate us and learning, and we all learn from each other, you know. And then I have a half sister who did not grow up around me. I would visit her from time to time, and I watched her grow up in a very independent way. Um, More of a, I don't want to impose the world on you. I want to see how you learn about the world. I want to see your mind. I want to see how you grow in your environment. But in a lot of ways, it was a rudderless environment. It was a do as you will. Oh, this is interesting. And let's just see how it plays out kind of scenario. And I don't know if that was the mindset. I don't know if it was the reality. It's just what I saw when I visited. Okay. And I didn't visit but once a year. Because it was very far away and I was a child. So, um, you know, I look at how that's kind of moved through time and how they developed and how they changed and how they grew up in different worlds, basically, with different responsibilities and different rules and different support systems. And they're totally different people now that they're adults. Is it saying that my brother's system was better or my sister's system was better? I don't know. I really don't know. But I know that one of them is a very successful individual with a family, kids of his own. The other one isn't. Actually, I don't know much about my sister now. Um, I've tried to have contact, but it's not turned out to be fruitful as a reciprocating conversation. So I don't know. Listen. People make decisions. You only have an influence over children for a certain amount of time, and then they become adults and they make their own decisions. I've learned that with my kids. My kids grew up with me with similar things to what I was taught, and all three of them are vastly different. one being my stepson, but the other two being mine, and they're all very different from each other in different ways. And I guess what I'm saying is structure is important for everybody, whether it's your pet, whether it's you. I'm an adult. I can do what I want, quote unquote, what they say, right? But I know that if I don't go to bed at a certain time, I'm irritable the next day and I can't function well. I know if I don't eat healthy, I tend to be sluggish and feel bad. I know that if I don't take care of my body, I don't reap the benefits of the work the next day. I may be out of breath more. I may struggle to climb steps. I may struggle to move about. Um, you know, being an adult is you figuring it out as you go and making mistakes along the way. And Lord knows I've made mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. But I can say that I got a good base of right and wrong, what to do, how to motivate myself, and how to motivate other people, how to be kind to other people, how to treat one another. And these lessons I learn all the time from everybody. But, you know, there was a time where I felt like I was a young man and I needed direction more than what was available because I was left to my own devices. And I just knew that college wasn't the answer for me. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. There was nobody around me to ask, "Hey, what do you think I should do?" Well, I mean, what direction do you think I should go in? And credit to my mom, she didn't want to be like, "This is what you're going to do," because of course kids always fight back against structure like that. I mean, there's cultures that tell their kids their whole lives, "You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor," and then they become doctors. And are they happy? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. Who knows? Everybody's different. But we lived in a household where it was said you could do whatever you want. Okay. Well, that's a lot of good support. I can do whatever I want, whatever I want, whatever I want. So I grow up and I go, I don't know what I want. I don't want to live here. I want to be on my own. I want my own place. I want to be able to come and go as I please. I want to be able to have a nice car, maybe, at least reliable transportation. I want to have a girlfriend, maybe a wife at some point. I don't know. Um, I remember sitting and thinking, I just need something to push me in the right direction. And had a friend that convinced me to talk to a Marine recruiter. At the time, I was talking to an Army recruiter. And he was like, listen, just go talk to this guy. And when I talked to him, he talked like I talk. He talked about it didn't sound like he was trying to sell me a bill of goods. He was just like, what do you want? I mean, seriously. When you go into the Army recruiter, he sounded like a used car salesman. He was willing to promise me the world if I just signed that dotted line and go off to boot camp. And listen, would I have been happy in the Army? Who knows? I know it would have been a lot less stress because I've got some buddies that retired from the Army and they talked about how easy it was. And I was like, oh, geez. Um, there was nothing easy about the Marine Corps. Nothing. There's a reason they call it the few and the proud. I run into a lot of people on a regular basis that tell me, "Yeah, I was gonna join, but blah 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 blah. Yeah, I had signed up to go, but then I backed out. Yeah, I always wanted to join the Marine Corps, but I didn't. So why are we having this conversation? Like, I mean, I get it, whatever, but also like, we have nothing to, we have no conversation after that. What is it? What do you want me to say? Oh, well, that's a thing you could have done. Okay. I don't think people fully understand what it took and what it takes and the level at which you're willing to push yourself past your own boundaries to volunteer your life at any moment's notice for your friend beside you, for your country, for just doing the right thing. I mean, following directions basically without question. I mean, That's what the Marine Corps prepared us for. I'm supposed to give a speech tomorrow about Veterans Day and about um, my time. And I wrote a speech. It's actually pretty good. I'm kind of surprised at myself um, because I wanted to think about what to say for not only myself and my country and what we all learned by being in the military, but also the families who support us, the ones who never get praise or attention for all of their support and love and kindness, and then maybe it's just a voice to talk to, maybe it's just a shoulder to cry on at times, or someone to drink with because you just need to have a drink because nobody else can understand. And whatever it is, we all find those people around us. So not only is it a pride and esprit de corps for doing the right thing for our country and our freedoms here, but it's also a camaraderie we have with everyone around us in our circles. And maybe it's some guy that I work with that was also in the Marine Corps, and we might share 100 words all year long. Well, all those words are very direct and very to the point, and a reminder of I got your back. Whatever you need, you tell me. You need help with something? I'll help you. You want to sit and talk? I'll help you. You want to go quiet somewhere where we can actually have a conversation about what's really bugging you and not this stuff around you? I'm there too. Whatever you need. Some of it is being taught to stop being a child, to grow up. A very quick conversation. Grow up. Period. There's things that are important to you as a child that aren't important to you as an adult. There's things that you need to suppress in order to get things done. There's elements of your own personality that does not matter when it comes to being alive or dead. There's fears that you have that no longer matter because you need to save someone's life. Maybe it's at the cost of your own life. There is a lot of training involved that gets you in the mindset of believing in that 100%. And doesn't matter if you were in during peace times or at war, you were all given that mentality because at the turn of a switch, someone saying, we're going, you are in that mindset at all times. That is what that training is for. And the Marine Corps, above everybody else, is taught that, and it's drilled into you the entire time you're in. And so, happy birthday, Marines. Happy 249th birthday. Hoorah. Veterans Day is tomorrow. Happy Veterans Day to all my veterans out there. I appreciate every one of you in ways that most people don't understand. It takes all of us. Some people ask me, what did you learn while you were in? I learned that I can do a lot more than I thought I could, but I learned that we can do immeasurable things if we just work together. And to go full circle here, we just elected President Trump and JD Vance as our vice president. So we did it. Instead of sitting on our hands and letting things happen to us, we got mobile, we got vocal, and we put the man in office that's going to make some change happen this time. If you listen to his interview with Rogan, he talks about how he was misled, misguided, and from every turn, no one gave him an opportunity. And he's had 4 years to figure that part out, 4 years to vet people properly, 4 years to find a group of people around him to trust to do the right thing selflessly. Coincidence that his vice president is a Marine or that Tulsi Gabbard still serves? combat medic. So, congratulations, Mr. President. Congratulations, America. Now we get to move forward. Now we get to enjoy the freedoms, like, I don't know, showing that you belong to the United States when you vote for your president or vote for any law. Voter ID needs to happen. You have to show that you belong here in order to vote. No more shady mailing in ballots. Thought it was amazing. I saw a statistic. Again, this is stuff I heard. Okay. This is not, I'm not the news. Um, I saw statistics that shows something like 61 million voters voted the first time Trump won. Um, when Biden won, 81 million voters voted. And then this time, 66 million voters voted. What happened to the population where that many votes just appeared for Biden? I'm not saying that election fraud happened, but I'm saying that election fraud happened. But also, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. That had to happen in order for us to be here. That had to happen in order for us to have this conversation more freely. There is a lot of distrust that we have had with our government. We're going to find out some information here about the assassination of the Kennedys because RFK is Donald Trump's friend. RFK is going to serve with him. RFK has said that he wants it to become public knowledge what happened to his uncle and his father, that the U.S. government assassinated them. And listen, I know I am just parroting what I've heard because this is stuff I heard. It may not be real, but even me saying this, I may get deplatformed and may not have this episode may not even exist. You may never hear this. YouTube loves to censor things. They love it. Oh, makes them happy. They get to control the narrative. Just like if they were CNN or Fox News or whatever, people love to control the narrative. They love to tell you what you can and can't say. And that was the biggest thing that I kept hearing about was time and time again, these people that call themselves, politicians in the Democratic Party were saying that we need to censor what people say. We have to control the narrative. We can't allow information to get out that's against what we believe. We who? Man, talk about crazy. Just making 1984 come alive. George Orwell warned us about this in a science fiction book. And here it was becoming real in real time. Doublespeak, Ministry of Truth, crazy stuff like that. For the first time in my adult life, I was excited about an election. I was excited about our hope and our future. I was excited about the fact that the truth was going to actually happen. And listen, it remains to be seen if the next 4 years, if this actually does happen. But I guarantee you one thing, everybody who's in his corner will not let Trump do anything but what he promised. And listen, he's being held to a standard because he built that standard. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's about to happen. We're going to see a lot of stuff that's going to make us uncomfortable about our own government. We're going to hear a lot of people say, see, I told you so. Hopefully, we'll get information finally about all of the celebrities that are on the Epstein Island list who visited his pedophilia ring. Hopefully, we'll find out about P. Diddy and all of the celebrities who came out and to speak on behalf of Kamala Harris, who probably is on that list as well, about his parties with children. Yeah, hopefully all that'll come out. I would love for the truth to be out there. That would make me so excited. Oh, goodness. So let me pivot for a second. Hey, y'all, if you have some coffee, drink you a little bit of coffee. I kind of spoke about it before, but happy birthday to my sister, Tristina. and my brother Alex. I love you both. I'm proud of you in different ways. Um, this life ain't easy. And Tristina, I wish I would have been in your life a little more growing up. I wish I could be in your life a little more now. Um, Alex, I'm super proud of you. And Brandy and I talk about it all the time. We think you're the best of us. Um, I love you. All right. So, stuff I heard. I watched Inside Out 2. I just said that in reverse. I watched Inside Out 2. It's on Disney Plus now. And I gotta say, I like it. The whole idea is that Riley becomes a teenager and all the emotions inside of her suddenly are flip-flopped and changed and chaotic, and because puberty's happening and there's anxiety and there's depression and there's all these things that have suddenly popped up. And I was really impressed with how good they told the story. And yeah, I'm watching it. I tried to get my wife to sit down and watch it, but she just doesn't. She just can't sit still to watch things like that. Um, but I was really impressed with the storytelling and the voice acting of all of the people doing it. Um, I thought they did a great job. They made it fun. They made it educational. They made it where you could sit down with your family growing up and they can understand a little bit about what's happening inside of them as they're becoming teenagers. For your young family, I was impressed. It was really good. All right. I also wanted to talk about here in Florence, South Carolina, we have our first distillery. It's called Boxwood Distilleries. They're located off of Hoffmeyer Road, and we went there yesterday for a grand opening. They actually had a thing with food vendors. They had tastings, they had cocktails, they had live music, some bluegrass, some gospel, some just just good music. I don't think they prepared to have as many people show up. I think they were a little overwhelmed with holy cow, we really underprepared. They had a lot of people there to help, but just ballparking it, I want to think that they thought maybe a couple of hundred people might show up, and instead, most of Florence showed up. So it was a huge success for them. I hope they do great. They had lots of spirits that they create there. They have a whiskey, a 3 grain whiskey called Insurrection, another one with brown sugar called Blind Tiger. They have a couple coming along soon, a red corn whiskey called Tillman's Folly, a um, what is this? Bloody Butcher corn whiskey called Deadlock. Interesting names for all these, by the way. They had some rums. They had a white rum called Black Water. They had a spiced rum called Pirate, Pyrat, PD Pirate. Excuse me. They had a gold rum, Muldrow's Gold. They had a Tupelo Black, molasses flavored rum, La Pina, which is a pineapple rum, and a moonshine called Sipico's Shine. Um, in our group, we all got a one cocktail, and then we walked over to the other area to do the tour and also to try out some of the samplings of the spirits. Um, they're all too strong for me. I'm a mixed drink person if I want to have anything. I really just prefer to have a beer. But it was good to try these. Um, I could see buying one of these and having it around for a cocktail, maybe with, a rum and coke kind of thing. Several in our group really liked the moonshine. They were saying that that was really good. I've tried moonshine in the past, and I don't know, it tastes like gasoline to me. It's just not my thing. Growing up, my mom's dad, Frank, he made moonshine, and he had done it when he was younger. He got in trouble transporting it across county lines when he was younger. And because of that, they wouldn't let him go to World War II. And he got really mad and drove his truck into the recruiting station, demanding they send him to war. He's ready to fight some commies. He was a wild man. When he got older, much older, this is kind of when we knew dementia was kicking in. He started making moonshine again because he was like, I've always done it. I'm just gonna make it again. Yeah, we're like, Papa, you can't do that now. Not the way you're doing it. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna hurt somebody. But yeah, so listen, moonshine is in my veins. Um, from him. Who knows where he learned it from? I'd love to have a conversation with him now. Like if he were alive today, I'd love to do a podcast with him and talk to him about how he got started moonshining. When he talk about getting arrested for transporting across county lines or state lines, whatever it was. Uh, find out about his history. I mean, the people that make us up have way more influence over us than we think. I think that it's echoes in the DNA. It just comes through. But yeah, some of us grew up with pirates in our past, and some of us have outlaws, and some of us have law-abiding citizens. And somewhere in there is a mixture of us all, right? So, um, yeah, if you're ever in Florence or around Florence and you want to check it out, we have a few breweries around here. We got Local Motive, and we have uh, why am I blanking on it? Seminar Brewing. But this is our first distillery in Florence, and we're a big enough town we can support something like this. I just hope people continue to support them. The family seems like they're really great. Um, there was a moment where they were playing music, and the guy came out and talked about, making this a business and pushing it forward, and this is cool for Florence. So good on you guys. I love to see where you're going with this, and I will be back because I thought you guys were great. So, um, all right, switching gears again. Stuff I heard. There is a really cool show on Netflix that's animated. I watched this series. It came out originally in 2021 during COVID, and I had heard that they were developing this show and that it was supposed to come out several years before, but because of COVID, they couldn't release it like they wanted to, so they had done some tweaking. And while they were shut down, they just made the animation better and better and better. As technology got better, they added layers to the animation. And because of that, they won a bunch of awards for their show. Arcane came out in 2021. It was number one through Netflix for a while, and then it dropped off a little bit after that. But there was a demand for season two. Now, I didn't do any research about the show back then because I didn't, I mean, I liked the show, but I was like telling people about it. I was like, you got to watch the show. You got to watch the show. I thought it was cool. I thought the visually, it was impressive. The storytelling was impressive. The characters had a lot of depth to them. Um, but then season two is coming out, and I saw a thing saying that it is the most expensive animated show ever created. Um, $250 million budget for a show. Uh, it's listed as a action, adult animation, adventure, drama, science, fantasy, steampunk. It's based on a video game. Apparently, there's a video game called League of Legends, and I don't know anything about League of Legends because I'm 50. But yeah, the storytelling in this is really impressive. The characters are rich and well developed, and I clicked on it to find out more information about the show. The cast, the leading character Jinx, is voiced by Ella Purnell. Now, Ella Purnell is the main character in Fallout. That's where most people are going to remember her. She's also in Miss Peregrine's Gifted Children movie. Sweet Pea, she's the main character. Yellow Jacket, she's in that. Bittersweet, Army of the Dead, Maleficent, Kick Ass 2. She's been in all kinds of stuff. She's like 28 now, and I did not know she was the voice of Jinx. But if you watch this and you hear that voice, you're going to be really blown away with the acting that goes with this. And of course, people ask, well, why are you watching cartoons? Why are you watching a cartoon? You're an adult. Blah, blah. Okay, yeah, sure. But also, it's really hard to portray what they're doing into a physical form versus what they can do with animation. Sometimes the storytelling and the visuals that you're trying to portray are impossible to do in real live ability. It has to be animation in order to let you see what it is. And this is a home run of a show. They're going to release season 2 in different parts. I just saw on Wikipedia that there's 3 episodes out now. In another week, they're going to release 3 more episodes. In another week, they're going to release 3 more episodes. So this is supposed to be the final of it, from what I understand, what I've read. But they're going to release them in like segments. So you have time to watch them. I went back and rewatched season 1. The episodes are only about 30 to 40 minutes long. The music in it is really great. Imagine Dragons does a lot of the music for it. I don't know what their relationship is, but it's pretty cool to have that integrated into it. The story follows 2 sisters, Vi and Powder, and Powder is younger, and Powder makes some mistakes, and Powder at a certain point gets called Jinx a lot, and they have a tragic moment where there is a ultra rich area in a town called Piltover, and then they have the slums, and these kids are growing up in the slums, and they just want to try to get an inkling of a better life. That's their whole hope and goal. Meanwhile, the people in Piltover are trying to figure out what they're going to do next to make their world and their economy better. And they find something called, they call it magic at a certain point, but then he changes it and he calls it hex technology. And it's all involving these blue crystals that are volatile and they explode. And then they learn to harness this energy, and then they make these interesting tools that lets them basically steampunk style travel through time and space on a metal blimp that can go through a time portal or a travel portal. Anyway, it's fascinating. Meanwhile, the people in the slums are coming up with a drug that they call Shimmer that makes them super strong. It gives them super abilities, but only for a short period of time. And it ultimately kills them because it's made from the poisons that are the runoff from Piltover. It's an interesting story. The way it's all done, the tapestry of the characters is so impressive. Um, yeah, I'm blown away by the show. Everyone deserves all the awards for the show. It's really fantastic. So, all right. I know you guys have got to be sick of me. I'm sick of listening to me now, also. So, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you to everybody who's listening and watching. I appreciate you. Be kind to one another. Okay. Even if you're not a Trump fan, uh, it's okay. Listen, we'll get through this. All right. No big deal. It's fine. You're going to find a lot of facts about the people that you used to support, and it's going to make you sad. And you're going to be like, oh, I thought Trump was the bad guy. And then you're going to find out that he's not. And then you're going to be super sad about that too. But that's okay. Listen, we can still hang out. It's fine. You're going to run into some Trump supporters like me. And you're going to be like, I thought you'd be like mean. And you'll be like, oh, he's not mean. That was all me. That was all what people told me I was supposed to be. How about that? So, anyway, y'all be kind to one another. I love you, whether you realize it or not. I appreciate you for listening. And as always, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.